Coming up on Guys Talking Sports, we talk about the results of the NBA All-Star Weekend. We're also going to talk about Magic Johnson now becoming the president of operations for the Los Angeles Lakers and what that means for the NBA teams that are trying to make deals before the NBA trade deadline. My co-hosts, Earl Ross and Adrian Catwell, join me right now, and that's on Guys Talking Sports.
What's up, everybody? This is the episode of Guys Talking Sports. It's your co-host, Adrian. I'm here today with my boys, Al and Earl. Say what's up, fellas.
What's up, everybody out there? How's everybody doing tonight?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody holding up? Hope everybody's doing good.
All right, so we'd like to welcome everybody to yet another week's edition of Guys Talking Sports. So, fellas, you know, we just had the NBA All-Star game. We just had some big news in the NBA. Where do you guys want to get started?
Well, first, I want to get started about the NBA this All-Star weekend. I was very, 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 very disappointed. I wasn't going to go any lower than that. Very disappointed. To be honest, I really stopped watching half of it. On the ever since from Friday to Saturday, I saw a little bit of the skills challenge, and then once I started seeing how much the 3-point contest was going, I figured it wasn't going to be as much fun as it was last year. I think last year actually was definitely better than this year's All-Star weekend. Definitely more intrigued in the dunk contest. You know, ever since Zach LaVine went down, and you know, I was kind of disappointed in Aaron Gordon and his performance. And it was so much hype to live up to what was going to happen this weekend. And then it just didn't live up to the hype. There was always the talk about, you know, KD and Russ, how they was going to coincide working together on Sunday's game, All-Star game. And to be honest, it really didn't provide any hype. There wasn't like, you know, once the game got started, it just seemed as though everybody was just into the game. But I will say this, and I said this I said this in my mindset Friday. I really just don't understand the basic reasoning how, and don't get me wrong, I believe Carmelo Anthony is an all-star, but I got to get this off my chest. Carmelo Anthony's team, the New York Knicks, was 11 games under 500. Since the All-Star break. So there was a lot of worthy candidates that should have been selected in the All-Star as a replacement instead of Carmelo Anthony. I could think of two names like Bradley Beal, for example. Washington Wizards are doing very well, and yet they chose Carmelo Anthony as a replacement. Don't get me wrong. I still believe Carmelo Anthony is a great player, but I believe that teams that are under 500 should not – any player with a team under 500 should not be invited into the All-Star game. That's just my take on it. So that just left a sour taste in my mouth from then to the end of the All-Star festivities. And to be honest, I wasn't really thrilled about it. I mean, like I said, last year's was definitely much more better than this
year.
Well, I have to agree with almost everything Al just said. I mean, the All-Star weekend usually I don't even watch Friday night for the celebrity basketball game. This is usually not that exciting. Saturday over the past couple of years have been the more exciting up until you get to the dunk contest. Now, last year, I have to admit, I think the bar was so low as far as dunk contest that Adam Levine and Gordon, what they did pretty much made everybody look up and be like, whoa, this is the best dunk contest in, several years, which because the bar was so low, it practically was. But this year, it was just lackluster to the point. The three-point contest was not as compelling, I want to say. I actually have more enjoyment watching the skills challenge between the bigs and the little guys opposed to everything else. And I don't know how you can revamp or redo the dunk contest. I don't know. Maybe you should get a whole bunch of and one mixed guys to do, dunks, in the dunk contest, and that'd probably be a lot more entertaining than what we're seeing out there. But the All-Star game, I think it stinks. I think there's no defense. I was like, how are you going to have a compelling basketball game where each team is almost scoring 200 points apiece? I mean, really? I mean, the dunks in that game should have been the dunks that was in the dunk contest. Matter of fact, scrap the dunk contest all. Just make the All-Star game dunk contest / pickup game, and then call it like that, because right now it just makes no point. Carmelo Anthony, I don't know. I don't agree too much about whether or not if your team is 500 or not, because if that's the case, there could have been a few seasons where Mr. Kobe Jellybean Bryant should not have made the All-Star, let alone start, because his Lakers teams for the last couple of years have not been that good. Not totally all his fault. We'll probably get into the Lakers in a little bit, but I will agree that maybe Melo shouldn't have been other worthy picks on both sides, but you get the fans picks the starting five. I think that's the problem. And then after that, then you got coaches trying to pick him to appease corporate sponsorships, appease certain teams. And do I think Carmelo Anthony is having an all-star year per se? Depends on your definition of all-star, an all-star caliber season up until this point.
I, on the other hand, did not watch any. I was too busy celebrating a late Valentine's Day with the missus. So I didn't have the opportunity to really watch, nor did I really care. All-Star Weekend doesn't have the appeal of the All-Star Weekend like when we were kids, or growing up in our teenage years, back when it seemed like players mattered, what their team mattered, in order for the dunk contest to be great again, realistically, the stars are going to have to be the ones participating in the contest. You want it to be great, the great ones are going to have to play. Russ needs to be in it. LeBron needs to be in it.
No, LeBron is no dunker.
We don't know that. He's not. At least I don't recall. He might have participated in one many moons ago. I don't recall.
He has two. He has two, maybe three dunks.
That's all right.
He's never participated in the dunk. He never participated in the dunk contest.
But people will sit there and watch just because he's never done it.
If that was the case, you should have done it when he was a lot younger. I just don't see.
I agree.
I just don't see the people now, pushing for him to be a part of the dunk contest. At least not now. Like if he was younger, like if he was like Kobe did it when he was like 18. Like if he was more, if it was like then, I could see a lot more people, willing to see it. And if he'd have kept on doing it, but it's like you said, it's just not the same. Especially when people didn't really know who some of these players were until they actually came into the dunk contest. Because let's be honest, a lot of people didn't know who Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson or Glenn Robinson the third. A lot of people didn't know what team they played for until they actually did the dunk contest. So, but I think you're right, Ace, in regards to maybe more stars should be involved in it to see. Because if they have a lot more name power, then maybe it'll be more compelling for people to watch and see how they go.
Or if you want to get creative, maybe make it where it's the NBA versus the D League.
That's an interesting theory. But I also think that I don't know if it was you or Earl that said this, but the M1 mixtape, the people that do this for a living, they definitely have more creativity than the people that's out there now. That's one of the things I was saying from the jump for the past couple of years, that they need to push these people. If they do no names, it should be people that actually can dunk. Like there's they had, and what makes it funny is because the NBA sponsored a dunk championship with other non-NBA players. And I think Shaq was one of the judges, and they had that going on during the playoffs. And they was doing better dunks than the people that's been part of the NBA now. So hopefully they could do something to improve that. But you're right. Until they put until they put names into the dunk contest, I don't think a lot of people are going to continue to watch.
Yeah, and I think now when you see with all the props and the jumping over 2, 3, or 4 people, I mean, even Gordon brought down the drone, which is actually interesting if he would have got it the first go around, but he did it too many times. But I don't know. I agree. You need to have a bit more compelling stars to actually sell it, because right now no one's paying attention to it. They actually pay attention more to the 3-point contest than they will dunk contest. But get some big names to sell it. I don't believe LeBron, he hasn't done it yet, so he's not going to bother doing it now. But I'd like to see Russell Westbrook in there. Some other names that'll sell it, and then take out all the props and just, go straight up. I mean, even if you got to put someone, I mean, if you're going to dunk over someone like you in the game, not just leap over them, but, with the hand cocked in the back and the, nuts in the mouth kind of joint. Give me something like that.
Yeah, that's what, and it's funny because somebody mentioned that during the All-Star game the dunk contest, because they were saying, it really isn't nothing a dunk unless somebody gets dunked on. And there's like maybe somebody like a teammate or something would take an L and just stand under the rim and just get yoked on. And, and that would help them out. It would help out. So somebody actually said that a teammate should do that, take an L for the team. So.
Someone to get posterized?
Yeah, someone to get posterized at the dunk contest. Yeah, no, somebody did. When I thought about it, I was like, he actually makes a point, because a dunk is not really exciting unless somebody gets dunked on. Like that whole DeAndre Jordan, Brandon Knight thing is still remembered to this day as one of the biggest dunks ever.
No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Vince Carter in the Olympics.
No.
Dude,
Yeah, no.
I still get tingling when I see that 15 years, 20 years ago when I saw it.
Well, there's nobody like Vince. There was nobody like Vince. And to be honest, no, but when you think about it, though, because, well, yeah, no, there's no one like Vince. I don't even know what I was about to say, because Nate Robinson tried to do it when he tried to dunk over Dwight Howard. And that's what actually made him win one of the dunk championships. It's funny that he's the only 3-time champion. That's still weird.
The boy was a freak. Nate Robinson, all of 5'9", 5'10", and out there just jumping through gyms. I still think one of the most recent memorable slam dunk championships that I remember, probably within the past 10 years, probably was when Blake Griffin dunked over the kid.
No, I don't even. No.
But I'm just saying that was an interesting dunk. I mean, he did it.
But the problem with it, speaking as a true fan, a true person, I've seen that dunk so many times, way before Blake Griffin even thought about doing it. The thing about it is that he brought it out so that the world could see it. And so when I'm sitting here looking like, oh, he's going to dunk over a car. So many people have done it before. But when he does it, everybody's giving him chance and stuff. And what made it worse, because it's like social media ripped on him because of the fact that, they're like, yo, like so many, I know people in the back, in my neighborhood that could do that easily. So it's all about the spotlight. And don't get me started on Blake Griffin and that Kia thing. I was so highly disappointed on that. Like I literally was ripping on him when he did it. I'm like, no, I was ripping on the actual the judges who gave him all 10s. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
it was
you're gonna give him all 10.
It was never done in an All-Star game or All-Star weekend before.
Yeah, no. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, it's like they haven't even never saw that before. Like they was acting like they never seen it before. I'm like, it's a regular dunk. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm off topic.
Okay, well, we can segue into something else.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely segue. No, All-Star to me was definitely disappointing in my eyes.
Well, then, if we're saying that the NBA All-Star is a disappointment, we're saying that NFL Pro Bowl is a disappointment. I'm not a huge fan of hockey, but I hear a hockey all-star game is pretty decent. I don't know. I don't have my pulse on hockey like that, but I don't hear bad things about the all-star game when it comes to hockey. I hear, as a matter of fact, I heard positive things about their all-star weekend this year. And then, of course, you have Major League Baseball and their all-star game, which, you know, do you think it's time that we stop with the all-star games and possibly just recognize all-stars because it's just not what it used to be? Or is it something that you really have to take a good strong look and possibly try to find better ways to make it more appealing to the masses? I mean,
well, I'll give it to this for baseball. I think that they tried to make it compelling by putting whoever the winner is, got home field advantage. I don't think that's necessarily going to fly in the NBA at all. And the NFL, I mean, it's after the season, so who freaking cares? But I don't know. I mean, there has to be something that you can do to make it more compelling and competitive, because right now it's not. I mean, after watching the first 5 minutes, I couldn't even stomach it anymore because nobody was guarding. It was basically an alley-oop fest, and nobody was guarding anybody, and it was just like, really, what's the point? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there has to be a way you can tweak it to make it a bit more competitive without putting anybody into jeopardy, because it's smack dab in the middle of the season. But I don't know.
Well, to your point with Major League Baseball, they just eliminated that whole depending on who won the All-Star game will decide home field advantage.
That's what I said. I said I give them credit. They tried to do something. I didn't say it was the best.
Yeah, but it still proved to be – it didn't really matter. I mean, just because you had the seventh game didn't mean that you're going to win. The American League won it last year, the All-Star game. Cleveland lost the World Series. Yeah. Game 7 on their home field. I believe. I could be wrong. But either way, it doesn't really matter. I mean, so what, you get home field advantage. And yes, as a matter of fact, Cleveland was the home field. They had home field advantage because they were mad because Chicago had the best record in all of baseball, and they had to start the World Series on the road. But it doesn't really matter. If the better team is going to win regardless. But the bottom line is something has to be done, like you said, and until I think you have to take – in the NBA, you definitely have to take out the fan voting. You're better off leaving it up to the GMs, the coaches, and maybe the media to determine who the All-Star game, and make it so that maybe the fan voting is only 10% of what's really needed for players to be selected. And then make it so that there's other factors that determine who All-Stars are, because you, me, Al's an avid Brooklyn fan. He could say Brooke Lopez should be All-Star 2 million times.
Wait, hold on.
He's now an All-Star. Voted for him 2 million times. Like, he stopped.
No, as soon as you said that, the first thing that came to my mind was Saja Pachulia. And the fact that he was that close to being an NBA All-Star starter. So as soon as you said that, that was the first thing that came to my mind. And I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue. But you're right about the fans. You're right about that.
But
I don't trust the fans. I really don't trust the fans at this point.
But not to belabor the All-Star stuff, because we can talk about that for days upon weeks. Nobody has a true answer. Now, we have a few minutes left in our show, so let's talk about this big shakeup in Showtime land, where Kupchak got the boot. You got Magic at the helm. You got the possibility of Kobe coming back to be some sort of talent evaluator.
Nah, I need to stay writing books. What he doing? He's whatever he got going on, just stay doing what he doing.
Man, you can't deny Kobe's tenacity and desire to win, man. He might have something up there.
Stay doing what he doing.
I know you wanted me to speak on this. I'm going to tell you this right now. Kobe is not going to do it. I agree with Earl. Kobe is not going to do it. If he did, there would have been a whole fire sale of players going left and right. Definitely starting with Swaggy P. This whole Magic thing is very interesting because it's not like Mitch didn't do a terrible job. He did win them 5 championship rings in the process, so it's not like he wasn't doing a terrible job. But I can understand what Jeannie was doing. I'm just. It's funny that she ended up firing her brother too to get to that point. But Magic is from what I'm hearing, it's a decent move. I don't have any quarrels with that. The only issue is that I just don't want him to end up being like Phil or Isaiah Thomas as an executive.
Yeah, I think somewhere in New York you're hearing a big F.U. to Genie by Phil Jackson because he's like, I wanted that job the entire time. You gonna give it to Magic? However, I find it interesting as well. I think that I hope his GM stint is better than his coaching stint because his coaching stint with the Lakers was brief and not that good. So I don't know if great players necessarily equate to good talent evaluators, doing with deals, doing with the salary cap, dealing with, the CBA collective bargaining agreement, all that stuff's going to play in a factor. And I, like Al said, I think Mitch Kupchak did do a good job. I mean, he was Jerry West's understudy for, many, many moons. And then he took the reins and things were pretty running okay. It was just Jim Buss and the way that he wanted to approach and run things, and Jeannie basically giving him a free rein for the most part until she fired him, which I think is a few years, too late. But it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if that name is going to really equate talent to come to LA. I mean, I don't know. It remains to be seen. It's interesting. That's what I say.
I mean, it's still LA. Players are still going to at least have a sit down and have a conversation with Magic to see what his, 3 to 5 year game plan is going to be. How quickly do you think you can get things turned around? Phil thought he could probably do the same thing in New York. New York being the mecca of basketball, or so they say. And it's been very difficult. You got to have – it seems like where everybody wants to have these super teams that that develops. Doesn't seem like anybody wants to build a super team with Carmelo. And definitely, when Kobe was still playing, nobody really wanted to be that super team with Kobe. But, Kobe still will champ. Well, now, Kobe had his big three. It was just not the big three of what you see now. Is this, him, Powell, and Lamar Odom, which – at that time wasn't bad. So it'll be interesting, like Earl said, to see how Magic is going to evaluate some talent, how he's going to get free agents in. But it's still Showtime. It's still the Lakers. And once the Lakers are good and New York is good, the NBA is back because, it's always been New York, LA, Boston. Everybody else. It's always been those 3 franchises. And, everybody else kind of made up everything else. So I think Boston as well is on its way. We'll see what New York is going to do. We're going to see what LA is going to do. And from that point, we'll look back at this conversation 2 years from now. Either Magic is still going to be the top dog or he's going to get the boot too because, nowadays there's no real loyalty when it comes to sports now. Nowadays you can't turn something around in 2 to 3 years. You're just going to get fired.
Yeah.
Perpetual cycle. Yeah. So unless Magic shows something quickly, he ain't going to be there that long.
Cool.
Well, fellas, coming down on some time here, so let everybody know where they can reach you at. We appreciate you guys coming out listening to what we got to say. We appreciate all feedback, and let us know what you think. You know, questions, concerns, comments. If you disagree with us, let us know. You know, how do you feel about the All-Star game? How do you feel about Magic? What do you feel about All-Star games in general? Do we need them? Is it something that we should have, or should it just be Al Quarles was recognized as the best small forward in the game, cut him a $25,000 check, let's go on to the next game? You know, is that what we're looking for? Is it something more, you know, we need to praise these individuals and let them know that they're appreciated and they're doing a good job. So please give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. You can find me on Twitter. My handle's CatDaddy1963. Please reach out and let me know. What about you guys?
Well, you can find me on the gram or on Twitter, JEROSS7.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well. I am Al Quarles. Again, that's IAMALQUARLES.
That's what's up. So I really hope that folks out there that listen to us and look out for our podcast and what we're doing. I hope that you appreciate what you're doing. And like I said, we really appreciate that feedback. You know, we're looking to come back really strong this year and hit those topics and those funny things that, you know, may strike a nerve with you and then make you think something that you probably haven't thought in a while, or, you know, maybe just think differently than the way we think. So any feedback is great feedback, and we really appreciate you guys. So once again, this is Guys Talking Sports. I'm Adrian Catwell. We got Earl Ross and Al Quarles. We'll catch you next week. You guys have a great evening.